Well, this is it. Final assignment. It is FTE 217-54614. My name's John Wallace. Today's date is 12/16/2025. Um, so reflecting, and the assignment says, number one, reflecting on your interactions with your instructor and fellow classmates throughout this course, please share insights that you have gained during these interactions. Number two is comparing the guidance that you received within this course, to the guidance by other recognized experts in the field. Do you find any discrepancies? When gunsmithing, is there only one way to skin a cat, or are there often multiple ways to accomplish tasks? If there are multiple ways of accomplishing gunsmithing work, are there any fundamental principles that should be maintained at all times? Why? What future education and training will you pursue to continue building your understanding of important gunsmithing principles? I can't read tonight, apparently. Well, yeah. So I'll give the citation as a second attempt, like I did in the last one. Not the citation, but the biblio for what I talked about. So yeah, I'll get into it in the subsequent videos. Okay, part one, insights from instructor and classmate interactions. I've got 5 points. The biggest takeaway from interacting with the instructor is the emphasis on fundamentals over shortcuts. There's a consistent push to slow down, verify work, and understand why steps matter, and not just how to do it, but why to do it. Which for me, my whole life, I've gotten in trouble for asking why, and why to do it is just as important as how to do it. In some cases, sometimes not so much. It's pretty easy to understand off of the how as to the why. My third point, class discussions reinforce that small mistakes compound fast on the AR platform. Hearing classmates' troubleshooting experiences helped highlight common failure points like gas system alignment, trigger engagement, and proper torque values. And seeing different approaches to the same problem showed how experience level affects decision making. I can't even read my own notes. So yeah, I think that answers everything. Especially, is there more than one way to skin a cat? Yeah, with almost everything for sure. There's more than one way to do it, and people keep finding new ways to do old stuff all the time. I will say that some of the more experienced in doing their own firearms students that have shared some of their personal experiences, or some of the students that have been in other professions or jobs that have lent to training in those areas, offering their experience, I think was a very valuable tool for this class. A lot of the classes, I've actually felt like the discussion was a waste of time because everyone was repeating themselves, but not so much with the AR because everyone's doing different stuff. There's 3 different ARs that students might be working with, so you're not going to necessarily be talking about one that, like, I had the 10. What if someone's working on the AR9? A completely different setup. So I mean, not completely. Principles are the same, but there's a lot of things there that just are mechanically different. And hearing from those guys kind of lets me think, I'm not just going to gunsmith AR-10s. I'm going to catch an AR-9. I guarantee it at some point in time. So hearing what they had to say and some of the struggles they went through was actually kind of helpful in a way I didn't think about ahead of time. Okay, course guidance compared to recognized experts. Well, the guidance in this course lines up closely with established AR experts and manuals. I had a conversation with the dean that works closely with this class, actually, and he went over a lot about the manuals and the information that is pulled for the AR course. So I already knew that it lined up really close. References like Patrick Sweeney and Military Technical Manual, the Professional Armorers, all stress the same core ideas. Correct assembly order, proper torque, function checks, and safety is the biggest one for everything. That's across the board, and especially with the school, an instructor for each assignment, you got to do your checks when a firearm's involved. In a video like this where it's a reflection, I'm not necessarily worried about looking for ammunition because I don't even have a firearm with me right this second. But whenever there has been a firearm in reach for a video, you have to do your checks every time you cut and break away, or you have to check the area, you have to check the firearm itself, show that there is no magazine, there's nothing in the chamber, there's nothing that you can accidentally grab. Say you're going for your dummy rounds and there's a round laying there, you don't accidentally grab that. So they've been really good about safety. The differences I do see are personal preferences. Obviously, the fundamentals and the safety all stays the same across the board for most everyone in the firearms industry, even not necessarily in the firearms industry, but in industries that rely on firearm usage, like the military and the police, FBI, any of that law enforcement. Safety is always a big thing. So it was mostly personal preferences, maybe a specific tool that someone chose to use over another one because they liked it better, silly stuff like that, but never anything like mechanically fundamental or to do with safety precautions. Other things that might have been a personal preference, buffer weight selection, gas system tuning methods, inspection sequences. You don't have to check everything in a certain order as long as you check everything. Most people do like to check in a certain order because that lends to them doing it in that order every time in muscle memory and not forgetting a step. But I mean, if say Andy Hallinan, for example, made a video looking over any type of firearm, he might prefer to do it in a certain order that is completely backwards from how I do it, but all the steps are still hit, so everything gets checked. So it's all about personal preference for that. Nothing contradicted industry practices, like I said. Not a direct contradiction where it was just upending something. If there was any contradiction, it was all personal preference. Yeah, so part 2's done. Part 3, is there only one way to do gunsmithing work? I said that in part 1. No, there's many ways to skin a cat. You don't even have to be skinning cats, it could be anything. You skinning deers and mules too, but there's multiple ways to do it always. There's rarely, like my notes say, there's rarely only one way to accomplish a gunsmithing task. Multiple methods can achieve the same result depending on tools, experience, and use of the firearm. Fundamental principles stay the same as I had said part two. There's a lot of fundamentals that never change. You could have more expensive equipment, which could allow you to do the task in a slightly easier manner. It just depends on what it is, but you could do things in a slightly easier manner. How about, when you're crowning, if you've got a hand crown versus having I think it was a Brownell's crowning tool. Hand crowning is an option, but so is the tool. They're different, but fundamentally they do the same thing. They crown the end of the barrel in the manner that you want it. For that, it was a flat crown. I think a 60-degree bevel for the muzzle loading class. Sorry, I had a brain fart. So yeah, tools can change, but the fundamentals don't. Whether you have the money for all the expensive stuff or not is going to be one reason that there's multiple ways to do different things. Some people don't have the money to spend, so they figure out a new way to do something. My dad was a big one for making tools that he needed because he didn't always have the money to just go buy every single specialty tool. He was damn good at building new tools to do the job he needed done. So as long as you keep your fundamentals the same, your tools don't matter. If you deviate from the fundamentals, that's when you end up with reliability issues, accelerated wear, and unsafe firearms altogether. They're fundamentals for a reason. We all know what that word means, and no matter what the subject is, the fundamentals always mean the same thing. They are the adhered to rules because that's how things work well in that specific, I don't know what avenue of thought, I guess. Gunsmithing, we do it certain things in a certain manner because that's what's going to work. The tool to get to that manner might be different, but the fundamental is going to be what keeps you safe. Understanding the principles allows flexibility without sacrificing quality. Yeah, knowing what you're doing and knowing why you're doing it and what the end product should be is going to put you further ahead, because you're not going to make as many mistakes. You're not going to think that, oh yeah, that's acceptable, and then come to find out in a rude awakening that it's not when you try to present it to a customer. Knowing ahead of time, definitely. Chance favors the prepared mind is one of my favorite sayings, and I think part of that prepared mind is knowledge in what you're undertaking. So, yeah, knowing principles. Okay, part four, as far as future education and training. For the AR platform specifically, absolutely. I'll be doing deep dives on that because I have tons of friends and their friends and their families that have ARs. So there's going to be a lot of time for me to work on ARs. And I want to do as much learning about them as I can. Of course, hands-on repetition, troubleshooting, and solving problems as I go will definitely be a form of education and training. I emailed about taking additional courses already, as I think it was my student advisor had let me know that after you take the course, you can always come back and take individual courses that you missed, like the AR9 or the 1911 course, things like that. And also a local gunsmith up the road, where I had my AR lower, or yeah, the lower set. He was telling me that he's gone back and taken I think, the shotgun class and the 1911 class. So I plan on doing that. Long-term focus, though, is not just ARs. It's going to be all firearms, reading and reading and reading. I already watch tons of videos and take in information that way. For me, learning is it's kind of my hobby. It's just to learn. So I don't intend to stop at firearms or gunsmithing. I'm going to keep going. I've been to school for multiple different things, and I don't intend to necessarily make some, rich man's dream, or poor man's dream of being rich, I should say. But I enjoy the knowledge of it all. Overall, I thought the AR course was a damn good course. A lot of information, a lot of good information. A lot of looking out and seeing, making the course would make me ask questions that would have me sitting there, at work when I'm sitting there on a break looking at videos about ARs and different stuff that comes up. A lot of tolerance videos, lots and lots of tolerance and how to measure different components videos that I've been interested. Like I've just sat there like, how the heck do I measure that? So a lot of looking that stuff up. So it's been a really good course. It's been really fun. Thanks for the information.